Welcome to Get Your Mind Right, your daily dose of insights and motivation for merchant service sales, digital marketing, and personal growth.
Welcome back to Get Your Mind Right, the world's only daily video podcast built especially for merchant services and digital marketing professionals. Now, what we're talking about is Invoice, and this is our automated payments platform that is integrated with QuickBooks. And a quick recap on what we covered yesterday and how we sell this with a one-call close. And here's what's really important here is we're going to cost justify this solution. And what we talked about is all the things you don't need. You don't need phone calls. You don't need sales support. You don't need the time to go back to office, come up with a proposal and present it to the customer. And best of all, you don't need any kind of statement analysis. And the way we do this is by cost justifying and giving your customer a very quick return on investment. That is where it's at. So what I want to do here is talk to you about all the pieces that are going to affect your proposal and ultimately your merchant's bottom line. So if you reflect back on our earlier sessions on this, we talked about cutting down the labor. If you missed this, I strongly urge you to go back and check those out. It's going to really help out your proposal and your presentation process. But let's go into the numbers of what it actually takes, okay? It takes approximately 1 minute of labor to process that invoice once that invoice is actually created, meaning all the information, proper billing address, goods and services sold, entered on it, etc. Okay? Now, for your paper, your toner, and your maintenance on your printer, that one piece of paper that's going to be kicked out as a result that we call an invoice, it's going to be about 2 cents. And today it's 66 cents for the stamp. Now, our next thing is, these are snippets from the tool that we're going to go over here today, is when you go into the tool, you're going to look in the bold boxes and you're going to also use this to interview your customer. Now, what we did here in this illustration, this is a very small merchant. They issue 75 invoices a month or 3.4 a business day. Even the smallest electrician, lawn care company, or home maintenance company is going to do more than this. But look how the savings, or look at the savings this yields with just these 75 invoices, okay? What we figure here also, should point this out, is what our hourly all-in rate is for an accounts payable clerk. Again, $25 an hour by the time you figure their payroll taxes, any kind of benefits they get, probably going to be above that. But again, I'm going modest on this. But your merchant's going to save $82.25 a month in this instance. Now, the next thing is reducing the cost of processing checks. So just for the record here, I think the number that I've expressed is low. But I have a citation here, and we're going to go with it. It's the American Productivity and Quality Center. You can see it right here. Now, who is this? I don't know. I have no idea. I'd never heard of the American Productivity and Quality Center until I created this proposal about. So why did I pick them? Well, there was a whole range of the cost of a company to process a check that actually comes in the door. I saw it as at the lowest of this was $3.71. And I saw on the high side of upwards of $25 of processing a check. Now, I've done some ask around. I did some ask around in this building. And what the consensus is, it's closer to the $25 mark. So you're saying, well, why did I go with the lower cost one? Because this is very conservative. By the way, this talk track I just gave you explaining this, I highly urge you to provide that to your merchant. I've done this with merchants before. This does a couple of things. Number one, it's going to get the merchant to think, and especially if they have someone from their accounting staff there, of what sort of time and resources they spend to process a check. It's going to get them thinking about it. And what you're going to find is that when you do this and you say, hey, my own personal experience is a lot higher than this, they're going to nod their head. They're going to go, yeah, there's no way we can process a check for $3.71. But again, this helps your case here, because you're being very conservative, because at the end of the day, we're looking to cost justify our solution, and we're looking for a return on the investment. Now, for the record, this is the same company that we looked at in the previous slide. In this instance, they're issuing 75 checks, and they're bringing in checks. So here are the results, okay? 75 checks a month. We do the math times $3.71. We're just north of $278.25 a month, okay? Add those two things up, it's a significant amount of money. So let's go over to our tool, and I'm going to walk you through a real life scenario here. Maybe. Okay, so this tool is available to all our Evolve assets. So I don't have the right one. Pardon me. Here we go. All right. So this tool is available to all of Evolve's assets. All right. So this is literally what this will look like. You'll have your laptop or your tablet, and you can take them. You can even have your customer look at this with you. All right. And our first thing that we're going to do is we're going to ask them, how many invoices do you issue a month? Now I made this easy peasy for you here, or the other question is how many per day? Because a lot of times you ask a merchant, well, how many invoices do you issue a month? They don't have any idea, but you break it down a day. All right. Well, I issue 10 a day. It's pretty easy. If they're a business to consumer type business, they're probably open 5 days a week, 22 business days in a month, and 10 invoices a day. Pretty easy math there. We're gonna have 220 invoices a month. Next thing I'm gonna ask them is, what do you pay your accounts payable or accounts receivable clerk? Folks that are issuing these invoices or receiving their payments. Well, they may say, I'm paying them $20 an hour. Well, would you say all in with your payroll taxes and benefits, you're at $25? Now, the merchant might say, no, I'm at 26 on this. Now, my next thing that I'm going to ask this merchant is, okay, we're issuing 220 invoices a month. How many of those are actually paying by check? Merchant might say, well, all of them, or they might say, you know what, we do take credit cards, and I'd say it's about a half and half proposition. Okay. Now, the other thing here is, again, I made this easy for you. I've cited the American Productivity and Quality Center because there's no way you're going to remember that right after the one time that you've seen this on this presentation, but I want to tee you up. Want you to have that conversation with the merchant and whoever they elect to be there from their staff on this sales call with them. All right. Now, next thing is how many of those can we get moved to electronic? Or if they're making a portion of those in credit card, which in this case they indicated that they did, how many can we get moved to the electronic invoices? All right. Very, very, very significant. Now, my last thing I'm going to ask, and again, this merchant, they told us they're already accepting credit card. I'm going to ask them how much they're spending on processing a month. Okay. On those people that call up or card present transactions, just about how much do you spend a month? Again, I'm not going to ask for a statement. Merchant says, well, I'm not sure. Well, I'm doing, I'm doing $30,000 a month on credit card. I don't know. You think you're spending $900 a month on credit card? Yeah, that sounds about right. You know what? That's going to be close enough. Okay. Now, at this point, what I'm going to do is I have this merchant. I've got everything I need to give them a proposal. I do not have to go back to office. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my laptop, or I'm going to turn my tablet back to me, and I'm just going to take a couple seconds here, and I'm going to select what I'm putting out here for them. All right. Now, in this case, I'm going to put in my gateway with the invoice path. I've got an upfront. I'm going to sell this for. Let's say I'm going to do this for $99. I'm going to charge them a program fee, and I know right off the bat, I know without even looking at the numbers, I'm going to save them a trainload of money. So I'm going to charge them a $99 program fee. Now you'll see I have 110 credit card transactions that came over from my qualification sheet here, and I've also got my dual pricing on this. Okay, already talked to the merchant about surcharging and dual pricing, and they told me that they want to do this. And what this has done for me has built the whole proposal. All right, it showed me what I need to do, and now I'm ready to go and show this to the merchant. So I'll go ahead and go through this with you, and I'm going to circle back and show you what's happened behind the scenes here. And what I've done for the merchant is I've laid this out very clearly, very concisely of what their current situation is, how much they're spending, what they're going to be spending. This is itemized from Evolve, what our solution is, okay, and then the installation. So let's go through this first. Now, the first thing that you're going to see that may put you off just a little bit here is what is our invoicing savings and our check processing savings. And you see that's a negative number. I'm gonna go back over to our ROI. And what you see here is this is what it cost them to issue invoices, and this is what it costs them to process checks. And what we're doing is we're saying that's a negative cost because again, that's savings. That goes in the good guys column, right? So what actually that is they're currently spending $900 a day or $900 a month on this proposition, and we're going to not minus $429. That's with the savings and the cost of our platform in here. That's going to net them $1,300 a month. Our annual savings is almost 16 grand in over 36 months, just short of $50,000. This is real money. This is money that drops immediately to this merchant's bottom line. Now, the last thing on this is the installation. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but it's because our authorized agents understand their cost, understand our processing on this. I encourage you to do the same. You've got some room to make some money on this installation on this. This is a very low cost installation, and you can see here the payback for their investment, 0.26 months. That's just a little bit more than a week. This is a no-brainer deal, guys. You put your merchant in a position where it's not only have you made it easy for them to say yes, but with what you're doing with them, the load you're taking off their task, the new money you're dropping their bottom line, they have to justify themselves a way to say no to this proposition. So 3 things before we wrap up. First of all, how long did it take me to price the solution for the customer? Remember when I said we were in the sales call and I turn the tablet to me and I calculate those things out and I populate those data fields. Words hard. Day 1 time me on this. Okay. Well, I did because when prepping for the presentation, I ran the stopwatch and I came up with 22 seconds. That's how long it took me to come up with a solution proposal for this merchant. Okay. So why did I do this? Why did I time this? Well, I'll ask you the question. Did this look easy to you? Well, it should look easy because it only took 22 seconds. If I'm with the customer, and here's again, I make bold statements with this customer. But the thing is, I'm going to back it up. I'm going to tell them, hey, give me 22 seconds and I'm going to have a solution priced and a financial impact. Okay. Now, what I want to say though here is they're not just bold words. It's not just a claim, it's action. I'm talking about doing something and I'm showing the merchant what I'm going to do. This is a massive credibility booster for you. Now, the reason it only takes 22 seconds to generate a proposal is because at most you got 7 boxes to fill here to either check or values to enter. Now, you'll notice that the program fees, the gateways, and the ACH options are automatically chosen for you. This, again, is designed to save you time. So let's walk through the steps of how you price the merchant. So I'm saving this merchant, and I mentioned this to you, I was pricing up a lot of money. So I was going to change the program fee to $99. I want to make some money on this. Now, the last thing is the merchant wants to do ACH or dual pricing. So I'm going to leave this check down here, okay? I'm going to make $10 on my monthly and another $1.80 on each ACH that's processed. Again, you have control over this pricing. And you'll notice that 61 transactions in this particular case were carried over from the previous page. And at the bottom of my sheet reflects a summary of your upfront charges, if there are any. And finally, the processing costs are carried over from the qualification page and show you the dramatic representation of the difference between surcharging and the dual pricing scenarios and how much margin you're going to generate. Now, remember the 22-second proposal? Here's your invoice path proposal, which we already covered. Hey, that's all we've got time for today, okay? Come back tomorrow and we're going to bring this all home. Until then, keep your mind right.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to tune in every Monday through Friday at 6:30 Eastern. Like, follow, share, and set your reminders. And remember, always keep your mind right.